Backrooms, Exit 8, they all come from the sort of YouTube internet lore of creepypasta and creepy things that the internet really loves to dive into. What does Backrooms and Exit 8 have in relation to each other? Well, they're both came from the same zeitgeist of just internet culture and copypasta that people on the internet love to read and scare themselves with. Hello, it is Movies with the Homies, or in this case, Homie. My name is Mateo, your host, and I might also post this on my new channel called Emerald Mushroom on Instagram and YouTube as well. But because this is the Homies brand, I will be uploading this on the aforementioned channels. Anyways, what does Backrooms and Exit 8 have in relation with each other? Well, it's the concept of liminal spaces. And if you don't understand, is that liminal spaces are, hallways, abandoned looking empty places that look a bit uncanny and a bit unsurreal, surreal, just strange. And this pertains to the concept of liminality, which is the quality of ambiguity or disorientation that occurs in the middle stage of a rite of passage when participants no longer hold their pre-ritual status but not have yet begun the transition to the status they will hold when the rite is complete. That is directly from Wikipedia, whatever you think it is. But the point is, my own description of liminal space is that it's a it's a hallway that you think looks a bit comforting. It's a bit retro. It's a bit old. It's out of place because the one right before the concept of backrooms was really popular back in 2019, I was in my old community college around 2015, and at the time I was what was it? I was a theater major, and our theater department had this whole like theater building with a bunch of stairs in the front, going into the main stage in the back. Now, to the left side of the stairs, there was a hallway that led to a big looking room. And in that room was a elevator right there. And I swear, all these definitions of backrooms, definitions of liminal spaces, that was the uncanny valley thing I saw. It was literally a whole transition room of like just it was off white, yellow, almost like beige color and look. There was like a random table to the side, like a random chair there too. I used to hang out in that room just to charge my phone and just talk to my best friend. And next to it was an elevator. People would go in and out, going upstairs, going downstairs for some odd reason. And that was the first. That was before it was even called the backrooms. Before liminal spaces was really popular across the web. Like that was the first time I saw. Oh, I just encounter. What people call liminal space and a backroom sort of area. And it was really funny because I later, once the backroom started being a popular thing to talk about and people started depicting more liminal spaces and showing off images that people have taken of buildings and insides of aforementioned buildings, I then flashed back right away back to community college and was like, I'm just over here like, that was a liminal space. What the heck? I thought it was really hilarious because I encounter what people feel when they see back rooms, back spaces, places that people don't usually pay attention to. They just look at it. Now, this is a review of Backrooms, but I'm also considering also adding Exit 8 alongside to talk about it because both are one and the same. It's the main theme is backroom liminal spaces. One with strange looking. It's all glued together. I feel because in Exit 8 you have to find something out of the ordinary in the liminal space. And you have to keep walking forward until you advance while also continuously figuring out if you see an anomaly. Backrooms is kind of similar where like you're going down the hallway and things change consistently. And I didn't play the game because I know there's a game for it. I only know about the videos. I watched the movie first. I thought it was all right. I was not enjoying it at all because I thought I'm over here. I had the wrong expectation. First of all, it's it's a horror movie. People hyped it up as the most scariest horror movie around, and I was disagreeing with those reviews or people on the internet, Reddit's even like, "Oh, it's the most scariest thing, one of the most scariest things." I'm like, "Dude, I just came from watching Obsession like a month or 2 prior. Like, what do you mean scariest thing?" I think Obsession is one of the most scariest movies I've seen so far, besides maybe Hereditary. But so far this year, Obsession is the most scariest movie I've seen. That is until I go see Holcomb and some other movies I have on my list. But with that in mind, Backrooms is I'm gonna call it outright. It's a sci-fi thriller, maybe with some elements of horror because there is some creepy parts of it that really nail it down, and I can understand why people call it a horror, but like it's not. I guess when I think of horror, I think of something that like makes my back hairs like crawl up or like just your hair stick out. For me, Backrooms did not really scare me. If anything, I was like, I raised my eyebrows like, what the hell is this? Like, this is kind of weird. And seeing the constant liminal space presentations in this movie, it was, I'm going to give it to you. If this is from a YouTuber that, had that whole little backroom series, and wow, good on you. All the praise for all the graphics you put in, all the cinematography. It's pretty awesome, I must say. Per the Wikipedia page, Backrooms is a 2026 American science fiction psychological horror film. There. That's what it is. It is directed and co-scored by Kim Parsons, that one that made the Backrooms YouTube creepypasta videos. And it's his first feature-length directorial debut. And he did a great job. Did a wonderful job. A24 really gambled on his potential. They they really scouted him out and said, "Whoa, get this guy right now. Get him whatever he wants. Get him a Bentley, whatever. Like he's gonna make something great." Backrooms was great. I have to admit, I did not like it at first. I was like, this is all right. Like I'm not, there's not too much really like to get me or bore me. But I wasn't really hooked in initially because I was like, okay, creepy stuff is happening. We got the furniture store going on. We got little spaces in between dimensions going on here. And if you know the synopsis is basically about a furniture store owner and his therapist discover a dimension of backrooms, endless hallways, liminal spaces that was accessed through a wall in the store's basement. You put your hand through the wall and then you go into another dimension. And I'm not going to give you the whole synopsis plot of it, but initially I was like, it's all right so far. I'd say the strongest part of this movie was when he had his coworkers come in with a camcorder and they went inside the back rooms of they tied up a rope around their waist and went down to investigate into the back rooms itself and like really record it to bring back evidence that, hey, there is another dimension here. I'm not crazy. And I remember when the main character, what's his name? Clark tried to talk to his therapist. Mary was like, hey, you ever 5150 someone for, going insane or something? Because he feels like he was going insane. Like, he was like, wait a moment, I found another dimension. My life has been my he was divorced. He lost his house and he was going through therapy trying to figure things out in his life. And so when he found out that there is another dimension of other spaces, he was like, am I going mad? Am I going crazy? To the point where the therapist had to go bail him out. And I'm gonna say this: if you're already listening to this, you already saw the movie and spoilers are not a matter to you. They don't matter at all. They don't tell you outright, which is a good thing. So I know I've talked about this in other episodes with Julian, but like, show don't tell is a strong indicator that you have a story rich movie. If you don't tell me what's going on, I will try to figure it out. And I would prefer you let me figure it out. Treating your audience as mature, as that, people have their own thoughts and opinions, laying out all the stories for people to look at, you know, that's great. Like, you could apply that to anime as well. Like, if you're just gonna explain what power you have, it's kind of like I'm gonna get pulled out of the information, the story of that you're trying to show. I'd rather see the canvas being shown fully instead of you telling me I'm gonna draw this and show this. This like, dude, what? No. But the backrooms though, there's a lot. They just show you things, and I admit, for my first watch, I was like, what are they gonna show us? What's gonna be in here? Okay, there's probably some back stuff. I'm expecting like jump scares here and there, and then you find out they show like backstories about Clark, about Mary. The therapist also had her own trauma, and that's why she's like working as a therapist. And you start piecing together things that are happening in the story. And it all starts in 1990. There's a researcher, they're at a institute. They found like they got lost in a extra dimensional space that has a lot of yellow rooms that literally look like a 1980s office room of just, you got the fluorescent lights, you got long corridors, you got furniture that's old, and in this case it'd be like, maybe just add like a computer desk here and there, and old white beige computers. When I saw the movie again, I decided to give it a second watch, but before I did the second watch, I went back and saw the original Backrooms YouTube videos myself because I was like, I'm giving this movie too much shit. I was about to give it a 2 out of 5, and I was about to write it off, and I was like, this shit was boring to me. Whatever, I just don't want to deal with it. But I was like, if I'm a movie reviewer, I should do my due diligence. So I was like, you know what? Let me go back and watch the old YouTube videos and then give it a second rewatch and see how my opinion reforms. I saw a good chunk of the YouTube videos. I understand the appeal, besides knowing about liminal space itself and backrooms and that whole sensation one feels when you see one. Way before the concept of backroom was uh was invented. If anything, when Backrooms was invented as a creepypasta concept, it put into perspective that feeling I had for so long, and I was like, it put a picture to the name. It put a sensation of what I felt when I was walking into that back room in 2015 at my old community college. I was like, where am I? Why the hell is this room just empty? I thought nothing of it. It was just a bunch of old fluorescent lights at the top. Those very triangular, rectangular lights covers, and I was like, this is all right. And you hear the low humming of the fluorescent lights. Also, it completes the picture of what a backroom is, a liminal space. Second watch around, I put it on for my girlfriend. She wanted to see it, so I found it on Streamio, the high seas, and I was like, all right, let's let's watch it again. Why not? I actually enjoyed it a little bit more. I watched it on and off because I know what's gonna happen. I kind of figured it out. But reframing that, it's not really a horror movie. It's more of like a sci-fi thriller. It I appreciate the movie way better with that reframing because I instead of expecting myself to be afraid of something jumping out and making my heartbeat go fast, I was like, this movie, it works well as a sci-fi movie. It hits those points. I It hits that feeling. It hits when I think of sci-fi, I think of like, alien stuff, out of the world stuff. And Backrooms had that out of world touch without showing an alien. It showed like, yes, there's monsters and strange human beings that had double faces and motion blur attached to their face for some reason. But it really hit that old feeling, just old, old machines, old, what when people imagine what cyberpunk is, an old 90s sci-fi, 80s, 70s alien. When you see like old sci-fi movies of the past, they had those kind of graphics within the old dimension itself with some of the machines that they showed off. And I reframed, I had to double check my whole initial thoughts and review about this. And I was like, wait a moment, that's actually not that bad of a movie. It's really fun. It's a great movie. Okay, wait, let me lower that down. It's a fun movie. I will say it has the potential to be a great movie series because I did hear there's a sequel incoming or in the works. So if he continues this and expands upon whatever's out there within the videos itself and the movie lore, if he continues with Mary as a main character, I'm strapped in. I'm ready. What else you got for me? Like I'm intrigued already. I like sci-fi movies. One of my most favorite movies of all time is like Blade Runner, 2049, Dune, uh, things like that. I like Alien as well. So Terminator is another one. I like sci-fi. There. So you show me more, and I'm gonna have a big jug of big box of popcorn, and I'm intrigued. Some parts of the story I didn't understand like initially until I later realized, wait a moment. For example, the whole initial moment with the scene with him trying to like recreate his therapy session. I didn't understand it at first. For like the first 2 seconds, I was like, what's this about? And then I realized, oh wait, he's recreating that therapy session he had earlier. And Mary tried to take him out of it. And was saying, you have to stop. You got to stop doing this, bro. Like, get out of here. Like, stop. You're harming yourself and me by strapping me in, forcing yourself to not confront what your life is like right now and your uncomfortable feelings regarding how your life has gone with the divorce and your life choices. Because he's an architect and he's the only one working because some fat ass does not want to get off their ass, to do the work. But he that it's a lot of things you could really say about this. The more I talk, I'm just gonna be yapping on and on about it. My review for this is that it's 4 out of 5. It's a solid movie. I would it begs rewatching multiple times, and no one has to do this, but like if you really want to like get more extra like context, for sure, going back and going on YouTube and typing up the old Backrooms movies videos and watching those as well. Got to watch it in order, and then just it just feels like instead of a horror movie, it feels like a for sure psychological is a great label for this. It is a psychological movie, yes. It is a sci-fi movie, yes. It is thriller-ish, maybe horror. I mean, if you consider horror, the moments where he was trying to like lurk around the corner to see the what was it like a statue or like a label of a man, a caveman, saying all the different languages. Okay, you could, yeah, sure, why not? But this movie, hits it all. Which you could go back and say the same. This is a two-parter. This is a two-parter podcast. This whole episode? I'm not going to go farther than maybe 40 minutes, but I have a couple minutes to talk about this. This links up with Exit 8. Exit 8 also deals with liminal spaces and sort of backroom-ish hallways. In the video game itself, it's from 2023. You basically have to walk down the hallways of a Japanese subway station. And you have to find anomalies. You have to figure out, was there something odd about the wall, or maybe there was someone different in your first walk around. If you see an anomaly, something strange out of place, you have to turn back to advance forward in the game. You have to go through 8 levels. Every level has an anomaly or sort, or no anomaly. It tends to be randomized and mess with you. Like, I thought there was an anomaly one time, and I was like, I saw nothing. And I walked back. I was like, I'm not dealing with this shit. I don't know. Something's in here. Turns out there's actually no anomaly. I could have walked forward. You walk forward, you complete the level. If you see an anomaly, you have to walk backwards to complete the level and continue climbing up the ladder of these exits. This movie, I feel like it's a companion movie to Backrooms because they share the concept of Backrooms. They share the concept of liminal spaces. Specifically, they're both creepypasta-esque in topic and category. Now with Exit 8, it felt more straight. Exit 8 was more straightforward. You have the Wanderer, the main character, who had a lot of psychological internal issues he was trying to deal with as he was trying to go home one day. And then he saw a rapid, it seemed like his subway trip repeated itself. He saw the same people doing the same things over and over again. And then he stumbled upon the subway station and saw the guy. There's one person that walks by him all the time, and that's part of the game. And he realized he kept repeating the subway station over and over again. Then on the wall, it tells you the rules. If there is an anomaly, you turn back. If there's no anomaly, you move forward. You spot the anomaly, and if you see one, you got to back up in order to advance into the next exit, the next hallway, the next liminal space. This one felt more of a one-to-one video game adaptation because the whole game is that. Literally that. And the director created a small mini story that every single anomaly and person and thing that was within the game itself became its own self-contained story. There was like 3 parts to it. One part was the main guy. One part was the person, the salaryman passing by the main character. And the third person was the little kid that accompanied the salaryman initially. This movie felt A bit creepy. It was also a psychological horror film. This one wasn't scary. It was horror in nature for sure. But man, it was a little, just a little bit creepy. I would like to say that also this movie, the small, the small little message I can, take out from this is also similar to the Backrooms. Don't, well, this is what I got from it is that do not run away from your problems. Face your problems head on, but understand you're not alone. And if, as long as you're not a malicious person, you're trying to improve yourself, you're trying to find yourself in this life that we have, and you face your troubles head on. It's better to be brave than to run away and forget about your issues and problems that will inevitably come back to haunt you. With that in mind, Exit 8, another 4 out of 5. Because it was I swear, it's a one-on-one. This one is more of a one-on-one adaptation of something that was already there. Backrooms was based on a couple of video series that's turned into a story that the creator made. What's his name? That Kane Parsons had to create. Exit 8 was more of like a more straightforward, it's a video game adaptation, but there's a lot of good things to talk about and see and learn from this. That is the overarching story, is that you must face life head on, because to walk away from it all and escape what ails you in this life, it's not necessarily a failure on your part, but ignoring your problems until they get worse overall and inevitably is probably the worst decision that you could do in your life. I really feel. I liked these, like after rewatching Backrooms and after rewatching and reframing my minds about how I approached, how I felt about it, and then watching back Exit 8 later, I'm like, wow, these are some good ass creepypasta movies back to back. My whole thing is I want to be jump scared though. So like it's just I they I don't think jump scares are needed, but I felt a little the feelings I wanted to feel uncomfortable basically. I didn't feel as uncomfortable because I know what I was in for. I was like, I already know what's gonna happen. Like it's just gonna be weird as hell and creepy. And they nailed it. They nailed how Exit 8 felt when I played it. I was creeped out and I was like very like on edge because I was like, what is going on? What is going on? What is going on? Where's the anomaly? I cannot find the anomaly. And Backrooms is a bit creepy where like you're like, oh, what is around the corner? All you hear is the humming of the fluorescent lights. What could it be? Who could it be? That xenophobic feeling is played on so much. You don't know what's behind. You don't know what's in the dark. Do you want to find out what it is? Do you want to know what anomaly is being shown as well when you walk the corridor and make a turn? Now that's another question for you. Do you want to open the door and see what's behind it? Have a wonderful day. Go watch these movies. I'm pretty sure Exit 8 is out now for streaming. And I believe Backrooms is also out for streaming as well. I will see you in the next podcast review, the next Movies with the Homie review. I also have I have a new channel. I think I discussed it early on. It's called Emerald Mushroom. Please follow me on Instagram and YouTube. I'll be uploading voice acting reels and voice acting memes and videos and Reddit stories as well. Otherwise, I'll continue doing my movie podcast reviews with Movies with the Homies. So, today is July 10, 2026. Have a wonderful day. stay curious and hydrated. Bye.